Okay, so here we go, we're about to start the challenge. I want to show you what I normally use and how I'm going to cut it down to keep it on a budget and keep it a bit more relevant for smaller churches out there. So, if we start, and I'll just spin this round, if we start with my bass, it is a Chinese made Fender Jaguar. It is nothing special, but I love it, done quite a few gigs with this, and it's brilliant. Then when I'm recording bass, I would normally use this MXR Bass DI preamp. It's got two outputs and I'm using both for different things. Then I am a Mac and Logic user. My main interface here is a Universal Audio Arrow. It's only got single core DSP, but it does some great things. And there we go. There's Logic that I'm using to put everything together normally. As we went through in the previous video, we're going to be using Reaper, and I'll post some thoughts on that as we go along. So here is console, which is what Universal Audio uses for that. On one channel coming in that takes the guitar preamp, I emulate, here we go, an Ampeg SVT on the normal channel with the gain cranked a bit, and that goes through a emulation of a LA2A limiter compressor. I have it set in limit mode. On the other channel, which takes just the regular DI, I have a really nice preamp made by Manley, and that is a Vox box, and it's great. I love it. I've got some great bass tones with this. However, I'm not going to be using this, and I'm not going to be using this. I'm just going to be plugging directly in. Okay, so I'm working downstairs because my wife's upstairs and I don't want to get in her way. But I've just started using Reaper, and I've already noticed a few little things that I thought we should jump in and just take a look at. First off, with the arrow, I wanted to look at how I set gain. And console will show you better this on the screen caps. But on my bass, I have the volume knobs up full, and I play with the pick. So I want my meters to be peaking at about -12. And that seems about perfect. And then I noticed just a couple of things with Reaper that I hadn't noticed before. First up is this. What is it? Project settings. And in here we have a different project sample rate. So I need this to be 48, and I need to tell it to do that. Then, and this is really frustrating compared to a lot of other recording software, you need to set a folder where things are going to save. So you can see that in my music folder here, I have a folder called Reaper. In Reaper, there's one called Razor Hallelujah. I set all this up earlier. And right down at the bottom is one called Media, and that's where we're going to ask everything to save. And I'm going to hit OK. The other one, if we look at inserting a new track, It's just how you set this up. So if we double click on the track, we're going to name it, and we hit the record arm disarm button, and only then will it allow us to pick where it's coming from. So I want it to input mono, and it's going to come from mic line IZ, which is this one here. So that's right. And then I want to make sure record monitoring is off. So that's how I've got Reaper set up to record.
Vamp. Refrain.
Okay, so I've just recorded my take. All went very well. I noticed a couple of things in Reaper that I just thought I'd show right now. I made one little mistake, and it took me ages to figure out how to cut and fade in. But after a little while, I learned that wherever you place the marker, so let's say here, if I push S, it splits the tracks. At that time it split all the tracks, which I didn't want to do. I just wanted to do bass, but never mind. I can now delete this final duff bit, and if I hold it at the top, I can create... if you hold right at the top, it will go to this fade in and out tool, and I can create just a nice fade out for my bass.
So, we're having a go at recording with Reaper. As you can see here, this is what we're doing. And this is where I am. So I've got my microphone. This is an Audio-Technica AT2020. So it's called a condenser microphone. So you don't usually use it in a live setting. It's much better for studio stuff. So this is actually really reasonable and very good for the price. I think you get this 70, 80 quid. So this is the cheaper of the two microphones I've got, just to make it most accessible. And that is going into this over here, which is a Scarlett, what is this one? I can't remember what it is. Is it 2i4? Scarlett Focusrite 2i4, really great audio interface, which then goes into my laptop. And I've got that. So I've got two inputs here. That's the microphone. This obviously goes straight to my guitars. I've got a Martin D16. Cheaper guitars are available. So yeah, that's how I'll be setting up. One or two more thoughts that I forgot. Make sure you're obviously using headphones, not going to the speakers, and of course we have our trusty tripod over there, which will be recording me. With these microphones, obviously, if you record from directly behind it, you can't see your face. So record at a slight angle, so you can see my face. Also, you've got the window there that's providing some natural light. Plus, I'm not really sure I need to have that light on, to be honest. Pom bears, glasses, optional extras. I have just downloaded Reaper. This is it on this screen, as you can see. So I'm going to take you through my journey with this. Usually, I would use Logic, same as Dave, and so this is absolutely square one for me. I have no idea what's going on. I've managed to move that good. Okay, so we right click here and insert new track, or Command T. I'm on a Mac, so it's Command T. I imagine for you it might be Alt or Control or whatever if you're on a Windows. So I'm actually going to insert multiple tracks. So what I need one track for the backing track, a second track for the clip track, a third track for my guitar, and a fourth for my vocals. So I think that's all of the tracks I need. And press OK. Right, lovely. Okay then, can I rename this? Is that a possibility? Who knows? I'll just try and remember what they're called. Right, now if I insert... media file. Is that what I want? Not sure it is. Yes, it's allowed to do that. This is the real stuff behind the scenes. The truth is, I've no idea what's going on. Where is Dave's got so many Wii transfers at the moment with all this online stuff. That was a long time ago. That's a different one. Here we go. Praise a hallelujah. So what we want is... Oh, look, actually, Dave has actually sent me. It's not very good. You can edit this, Dave, can't you? So what Dave's actually sent me, he's sent me a Reaper file there, so I could just open that. But what I'm going to do is show you what I will put in here. So I'll drag this in just like that. Praise the hallelujah. Nice and simple. Along with the click track. I think that's what I want. Those two I'm going to leave blank. Well, I am going to command... no, that's not what I want. Command T. It's a new track. And if I insert media file there, I will... No, we want downloads again. I will also insert the bass. Why not? While we're there. So Ben has recorded some... No, Dave has recorded some bass, hasn't he? With his beautiful bass guitar. So let's have a look. Have I got the right things? We've got a couple of other things there. Here we go. Let's press spacebar. I imagine it's playing. Let's find out.
1, 2.
It is. Can you hear that?
2, 3, 4. Verse 1.
Just going to click down just a little bit and turn up this track just a little bit. Probably bad etiquette. You shouldn't turn up above 0. Right.
Verse 2.
So if you squeeze your fingers together on your trackpad like that, you can scroll out. So that all works nicely. So that's what happens. Let's press pause. That's what happens if you download a backing track from someone like Multitracks with long click track. That will all stay in time very nicely. And if someone else like Dave has already recorded some bass, then what will happen is it'll all sync in really nicely. That's great. So, I'm back. Here we are. Got these tracks in, and now we have got 2 tracks here. This is input 1, so that will be my my vocals. This will be input 2. It's been my guitar. I've clicked this button here. That record enables, and you can see that's already picking up when I speak into the microphone there. And that, if I play my guitar, that's also picking that up as well. So basically, we should be ready to go. And just to say, in terms of actually, how did I? Yeah, I'm not entirely certain how I set that. Let me take him off this. So I've just. Yeah, that's what I've done. So right clicked here on the track, and I'm now to input. Make sure it's mono. Input 1. That's what you need to do. Same with this. Input 2. Great. Well, let's have a go at it. So here we are. I've done my tracks. So you see here, I've got the vocals, and here we've got the guitar. So if we play it back, hopefully you better hear just a little bit, not very good quality, but that is both of those two tracks. Something to note, the vocals is quite quiet and the guitar is quite loud. Probably wanted a little bit more volume on my audio interface on the vocals, but we can fix that. We can mix that. That's not too big a deal. And the other thing to note, that's partly possibly because this microphone, this condenser microphone, it's not like a microphone you use live. It's not very directional. It means it picks up a lot of things, not just in front of it. So it's likely to pick up a little bit of guitar as well as vocals. So that'll probably add to it. Worth bearing in mind if you're placing people around a room. So we've got that. So in my instance, what I think I want to do is, oh, got a little message there, that's exciting, is I want to export each of these separately so that Dave can mix them himself. So what I think, this is just what I've discovered I think might work. I haven't tested it out properly. So we're going to go to consolidate/export tracks. If you wanted the whole thing, just press entire project and track all, that'll be fine. As it is, I just want this one track. So I've selected this guitar track. Make sure the sample rate is 48k hertz. That's what we're looking for. 24-bit WAV. That's good quality. And then you just press process. I've already done that, so we don't need to do that. Then you go through the same thing. This one, select this track. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Then you transfer all that to the person who's bringing it together, probably doing their own Reaper file. And then they'll do some mixing, which I imagine Dave will go through with you. So I hope that's helpful. It's been fun.
So, Dave Johnson has challenged me with recording a song for a worship set using the program Reaper. I have never used Reaper. I don't really know a lot about it, but it's a free download, so I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. So it's just scanning through all my VSTs, so it's telling me that it's found a lot of things, which is useful, some reverbs and compressors that I have on my system, so it's good. And you don't have a lot of music equipment or music programs installed on your computer already. This would probably happen really, really quickly, but I have a lot of things on my computer already, so it's just finding all of those for me. It says, you have not yet selected an audio device. Would you like to select your audio device driver now? So your audio device is usually something that connects to your computer and will have inputs on it, like one or two inputs that might be XLR inputs or jack inputs, or the combo jacks that do both. I have got a couple of those dedicated audio devices, but for now I'm using my my Helix up here, made by Line 6. Let's bring that over here so I can see it. So it's found the Helix already, which is great. So I'm going to select that as my audio device. Sample rate is at 48,000, which is great. Right. I'm going to bring Reaper over here. Now I've never seen this before, so let's just see what we're looking at. When I go up into the menu, I see all the things that I'd expect to see, like new project, save project, and all of that kind of stuff. So according to the challenge that I've got from Dave, Dave has actually sent me some files to work with. So my the first task that I need to accomplish is getting the files into Reaper. So I'm going to see if I can do that direct from within the program. It's insert media file. So I'm going to look for Dave's, and it might work that I can just drop these six files in at the same time. Let's see. Okay, insert multiple media items on separate tracks or sequentially on a single track. I want separate tracks, please. There we go. Okay, so this all looks really good. These are exactly what I would expect to see. Now already I can see over here I've got plus and minus for view, which is great. I like to be able to see a lot of everything all on one screen, everything looking how I want it to look. Okay, that's great. So at the moment I can see the whole of the song, so that's good. And I've got my speakers turned on, so let's just see. I've got transport buttons over here on the left of the screen, so I'm back to the beginning of the track.
1, 2, vamp, 2, 3, 4.
So this is absolutely perfect so far. I've just dropped the tracks in, they're all lined up perfectly. I can see exactly what they are because I've got my titles over here, I can see the waveforms here, and I've got my mixer here, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play around with the mixer just so that when I'm recording I've got a good idea of what's going on and I can hear what I want to hear.
1,
So I'm just going to start that again. I might bring it.
first 2.
That's really good. I mean, I'm guessing at this, but it's doing exactly what I would expect. I'm bringing the cursor a little bit of the way through the track. I'm pressing spacebar to start and stop the playback, which is standard on a lot of these DAWs, DAW, digital audio workstations, so a lot of them work in a similar way. So what I've done is I've got the mix to how I want it to be. I always like hearing plenty of click. I'm not too concerned if I get a red light. It's not loud enough to be distorting. Yeah, I'm really confident. This is very easy to use. I can see what I want to see and I can hear what I want to hear. So next thing for me is can I get my guitar sound into Reaper? So I'm using Helix as my audio interface, and they all work in the same way, so it doesn't matter whether you've got something that's quite expensive like this or something very small. Essentially what it's doing is I'm plugging in to the Helix, and there's a USB lead that comes out of the Helix and into my computer, and they all work in the same way. Right, so I have no idea how to get a new track. So I've found a menu called Track, and then the first option on it is Insert New Track. So I'm going to do that. So it puts it in at number 1, and I should be able to name that. Let's see. So I've double clicked that, and I'm just going to put in electric guitar. There's already a guitar track on there, so I want to differentiate between my track and the track that's already on there. The Helix has this thing called multi, which means it's sending out on the quarter-inch jacks, the XLRs, and the USB. So hopefully, with I'm going to find a way of getting the sound in. On the top of each channel, the little fader that we've got on screen here, I do have an option there with in. So I'm going to have a look at what that is. Record input audio or MIDI, record. That looks right. So I wonder what I need to do. If I press record there, there it is. I can see the signal. It's coming in into the channel, and then it's going out of the master. I haven't yet tried to record anything, so I'm going to do just a test recording now. So I'm guessing that if I press record, it also tells me I've got the option of Command and R. It's quite nice knowing the keyboard shortcuts for record, because then I'm not trying to get to a specific place on screen with the mouse and stuff. So I'm going to try that. Command, record and R.
1, 2.
The reason I did that was before I record a whole take, I want to be able to see if I can just see that I'm being successful. So I'm going to press record, and then I'm going to make a sound using the guitar as a test. And I have to say, this is like super simple, really easy to use. And now I'm going to go for a take. Now I do know this song. I have played it before, but I've got my chord sheet up just so that I don't have to spend a lot of time rehearsing it. Alright, let's give it a go.
1, 2. Vamp. 2, 3, 4. Verse 1.
Okay, so that was okay as a first run through. Now I'd be interested and as soon as I've finished that recording, it asks me, do I want to save it? Yes, I want to save it. Now there were a couple of bits that I wasn't quite happy with, so I want to be able to go back and listen. And what's really nice is I can just grab, you can hear I didn't know what I was doing. I can just grab a few tracks at a time so I can hear what I was doing. The other thing I can do is I can press S for solo to hear that. So that's good. Yeah, it's the vamp and refrain that I got wrong. Now, let's see what I can do with this waveform. So I'm sure that this program is capable of doing like punch in, punch out recording, but I actually want to do a bit of a workaround that's even more simple than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I did before and insert a new track that comes in, and I'm just going to name this electric guitar take 2. Let's see if I can take the record function or the record arm off track 1. I'm going to put it on track 2. I can see it's where I want it to be straight away. Again, really impressed with this, how easy it is. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller so that I can see everything. Right, I'm going to find that vamp and refrain.
Vamp.
Okay, so I've muted my original track, and I'm going to go record on this second one. So I've got my signal going in there. I've got my delay in stage 1 that I had before. So let's see if I can just pick up that new section.
Vamp.
Okay, so and again, prompts me, do I want to say that? Yes, I do. Okay, so again, I could have I think it was doing a bit of very interesting. You can actually drag the cursor and do what they call scrubbing. So you can actually, without pressing play and stop, you can actually drag it across and see what that sounds like. Now, as I say, this is a workaround because on this occasion I'm not going to work out how to do punch in, punch out recording. So what I'm going to try doing is I'm just going to try grabbing the end of take 1 and dragging it all the way back, and what you'll hear is a seamless changeover.
Vamp.
just instantly the sound swaps over from my first take to my second take, and I might even, if I shorten the this take 2, might even be able to drag that onto okay, now that's my own mistake a little bit, because I've obviously had a slightly different tone on take 1 and take 2, but that's okay. So what I've done is essentially, it's a bit of a workaround, but I re-recorded the last half of that, and now I've got one entire take that is okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that I can hit again, set the mixer so that I can hear what I want to hear. Okay, so that's fine. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rename that take 2 track. I'm actually going to make that a lead track now. I'm going to have another pass through the track, putting some simple lead stuff on. Again, I don't know the original song well enough to know what is supposed to be played on it, so this is just my own take. So Dave also asked me to list my thoughts or frustrations with Reaper, and I think an inherent problem with this kind of thing is we all like to extol the proponents of our favourite piece of software. So a lot of people love Pro Tools or Logic or Ableton or something like that, or Cubase or something similar. I've used Logic for years and years, and I've used Ableton for 4 or 5, and I love those two pieces of software. So I was actually expecting not to like Reaper very much, but actually I found it really, really easy. Now I have to say, I have used recording software quite a lot, so I know what I'm looking for. I know that I want to be able to import tracks that are given to me by someone else. I know that I want to be able to get a signal in. I've got no problems with any of my hardware because I'm used to using the hardware. So in that, or in this scenario, I already know how to do the process because I've been doing it quite a while. That being said, I found Reaper to be really intuitive. Usually the first time I tried to find something, it would be in the most obvious place. I think sometimes with a lot of the other programs, it seems like some of these functions are kind of hidden away and you need to know where you're looking. But I really enjoyed using Reaper. It seems really capable. The sound quality is great, and the workflow really makes sense. It was so easy to bounce out at the end. I'm not sure any of the other programs are quite that easy to use. So in actual fact, I was really, really impressed to it, and I would recommend it to anyone. And as I said, any problems along the way, just pop that question into YouTube and someone's bound to have put the answer in there for you. So, best of luck with that.